Most Indian students get rejected by German universities not because they're not smart, but because they miss out one or the other requirement because of which their entire application gets rejected. Let's fix that in this video. For those of you who are new, my name is Bharat. I've been helping out other Indian students to study in Germany for almost over 9 years now. And I know how confusing all of the admission requirements can sound like because in India, we are used to our local education system. Our admission requirements are just something that we simply know. And the moment you are making this transition across countries, you're making this transition across borders, things start changing. The goal of this video is I will simplify all of the admission requirements for you for both for bachelor's and master's. And also in the first line of the description of this video, you will find a completely free PDF which goes into a lot more details about the basic admission requirements for studying in Germany for the intake 25-26. Let's start with the first thing. The academic requirements. Your score in bachelor's and your score in 12th and things like that, these are very important. 12th is important for your bachelor's and your bachelor's is important for your master's in Germany. So you have to see in which phase you are right now. The minimum grade you need for your master's in Germany in your bachelor's in India is around 2.5 German grade. For public universities and English taught programs, 2.5 is already like very gray zone. What we have seen, because we have been doing this over 9 years, we have almost 900 plus actual data points for different kind of admissions to different universities, which universities they got rejections from and so on. So like we just make these different kind of surveys and all of the profile data is then logged into our database. On the basis of that, we can then offer you profile evaluation services where we say, okay, like, this is your profile, these are the chances, this is what is not so nice, this is what you can improve and so on. So that is something which is very important for us, and that's how we make sure that when we are giving you any kind of information that is based on data and is not just based on made up facts. So long story short, with 53%, 50% and stuff, you can still get into German universities and German taught programs or in private universities, but I would recommend anywhere close to 70% where the chances become very, very good that you can get inside public universities in Germany. 60 to 70% is this kind of like weird gray zone where you can or cannot get inside the English programs in most of the German public universities. For bachelor's, you need to have 13 years of education. This can be the 12 years of schooling, so 12th, plus 1 year of bachelor's that you do in India, or it could be a student colleague that you do in Germany. It's like a preparatory course that you do in order to start your bachelor's in Germany. I'll be completely honest, like bachelor's, the traditional way, I honestly find it the most tedious thing to be studying in Germany, while at the same time also completely admitting that if you come to a country as early as possible, the chances that you assimilate and you feel at home in that country is much, much higher than when you come later. In these things, there is another option these days, which is the direct admission for bachelor's in Germany, which is something you can do after your 12th right away. But this is something which is offered only by private universities in Germany and also just a few selected one of them. If you need any help with that, we can also help you with that. Just contact us with our email, bharat@bharatingermany.com. For masters, you have two main requirements. The first one is that the university needs to be H+ in the ANABIN database. This is unfortunately one of those things which is not solvable. So if your university is not H+, for you to study your master's in Germany is not possible. And this is pretty severe because even if you go to the APS India website, if you simply go to completed 4 years or more bachelor's program, you go to H+, you see, you may qualify for direct general admission for academic studies in any master's program in green letters. H- is red, H+- is also red. The second most important thing for masters is that you need to have a strong academic background, but the focus needs to be similar of what your studies was in bachelor's. That means if you're coming from electrical background and now you want to study like artificial intelligence or something, your credits are not going to be sufficient in most of the scenarios. I will show you a simple example for something like TU Hamburg. Now in front of me, I have the PDF open, which is for specific requirements for data science. If you see maths, you have different kind of subjects mentioned that you need to have studied in order to do your data science program. And the next one you see is the computer science and data science, which is programming, algorithms and data structures, theoretical computer science, automata theory, computability, and or complexity theory, machine learning, and data mining. This is mainly the requirement that they already mentioned, that you need to have studied this and this and this subjects in your bachelor's in India in order to study your master's in Germany. So important to take a look at that when you're going ahead with your entire planning. Next, we take a look at the entrance examinations and the aptitude test, which you generally have to take in order to start your master's in Germany or bachelor's. The first one is IELTS or TOEFL. The basic requirement that you need to have in IELTS is minimum 6.5 band. With this, you qualify for most of the programs. You don't have to worry that there are some requirements which you are not going to fulfill when you start applying for your master's in Germany. There is also a visa aspect of things that you have to keep in mind, which is even for visa now, if I take a look at the PDF, current proof of language proficiency in German or English, depending on the language of instruction, and not necessary if the letter of admission confirms sufficient language proficiency, not older than 1 year, right? So if your letter of admission already confirms that you have sufficient language proficiency, then you do not have to attach the TOEFL or IELTS exam along with your visa application. The second one is Test AS. This is for bachelor students, and this measures the academic aptitude, but this is not mandatory for APS, but there are universities which may ask for it. And you have GRE or GMAT, depending on what kind of program you're applying to. If you're applying for MBA programs, again, most of the times you will be required to write the GMAT exam or a higher score in GRE. If you're applying for standard master's programs in many universities, then you are going to also write the GRE exam in the universities which have a lot of competition. For students who are coming for German taught programs, you need to have a Goethe certificate or you need to have the test of exam, depending on what is the requirement of the university. Some universities are going to say, okay, B2 Goethe certificate is fine. Some are going to say C2 Goethe certificate. Some are going to mention C1, but they're going to mention DELK C1 Hochschule, but they're going to mention Goethe C2 certificate. So that is something that we have to specifically check for the university itself. But in general, even if you're going for English taught programs, the visa process, the university admission process, everything is simply a little bit safer if you can show some kind of German proficiency, because German proficiency means that you are not going to be somebody who is going to drop out from the program because you don't feel comfortable in the country, that you cannot adjust in the country and things like that. So this just gives them more surety that if they take you, the chances that you're going to actually go through the entire program and are going to finish what you started is much higher if you have German proficiency. This is also the reason why we have our faster German programs, which are super affordable and goes up to B2 level. You have lifetime access to all of the lessons, you have all of the updates already included, and you have good exam preparations also included in each level itself. That means you can learn German from the comfort of your home without doing any kind of commutes or sitting in long sessions, things like that. Now let's come to the documents and application material. The first one, and one of the most important one, is the statement of purpose. So here you're essentially selling your story. Why exactly you want to study your master's in this particular program, in this particular university, what qualifies you for this program, and what was your background, which again connects you to this program, makes you the ideal candidate for you to be studying this program. All of these things you have to essentially write down in statement of purpose. Many people make the mistake, which is they repeat their CV in the statement of purpose. There are parts of CV which go inside the statement of purpose, but if you're just like constantly repeating like paragraph by paragraph, like that's a wasted opportunity. Another important thing here is to also focus on the university and the program than just constantly focusing on yourself. Many of the statement of purposes I read are more about me, but the university also want to know why exactly you're applying to their program, like why you're not applying for other programs, what exactly makes you interested in them. The next is having a German CV format. Again, don't use the Canva templates and things like that you're finding online. There are specific academic templates that you have to use for the German CV. The next one is letter of recommendations. You generally need 2 of them. If you don't have any kind of work experience, it's going to be from your own university. If you have some work experience, it can be 1 from your university and 1 from your employer. Ideally, you always have 2 from the university and additional ones you can take from your employers. You need your university transcript and degree certificates. That means Mark sheets anyways you need. The semester-wise mark sheets have to be there, but a combined consolidated transcript where all of the different kind of like semester grades and things like that are mentioned are also very important. You need this in order to apply. Then the next and the last most important requirement is the APS certificate. Without APS certificate, Indian students can no longer apply to Indian universities because previously there were a lot of fake documentation which was being submitted. There were many times students who were getting banned from studying in Germany because they were submitting fake documents. And the funny thing is, it was their consultants in India who were submitting fake documents to them. We have come across a very famous guy from Gujarat who was constantly submitting fake Goethe certificate documents to the Mumbai consulate. And then afterwards, so many students completely wasted months of their life because they trusted this guy and thought he's going to do a good job. But in the end, because of trusting somebody else with something like this, you essentially end up like really having a big damage in your career. So that is a really annoying thing. It's very important to make sure that you trust somebody who has experience, who has gone through multiple cycles of intakes and has a reputed name when you're moving ahead with a process like this. If you need any kind of help with your entire journey for studying in Germany, we offer everything from German courses to German speaking club to complete course of masters in Germany, for jobs in Germany, things like that. You can find all of the different kind of resources in the link given below, and also our completely free PDF on the basic admission requirements you can also find with the first link given in the description. I will see you in the next video. Bye.